Hey guys, it's Abbey with Sassafras Candles. I am actually making our Fruit Loop wax melts where they are shaped with like the actual Fruit Loop. So here's what the finished product looks like. And it takes a lot of work, and I get so many comments on how these are made. Like, I've actually had a customer ask me if I took real Fruit Loops and then just dipped them in wax and called it a wax melt. And I am doing this video mostly to debunk that. I'm not sure why I would do that, but I want to show you guys the process so that one, you can kind of see a little bit behind the scenes on how much work goes into these products. And you can kind of see how fun it is to manufacture products too. A lot of time does go into these in particular due to it having 6 colors. I have to do a pound of each color. And with that being said, and you'll see later in the video on how I pour all of them, but it is a very time consuming process. It takes days between, making sure we hand drop drop every single shape. Again, I'll show you that. I'll go into more detail then. But anywho, just wanted to show you guys how it's made because, like I said, some people think they're actual Fruit Loops that I just dip in wax and then call it a wax melt because that's not what we do here. These are literally 100% wax. How these work is, like I said earlier, they are a wax melt. So you would open it up, and I'm not sure if it'll focus. I hope it does. But this is what it looks like. So these are all individual wax melts. Okay, and you just put them in your wax melter just like you do any other one. It's just that, something that we pride ourselves on is we want these to be as much of a decoration as a wax melt, and it turned out really cute. And it's this is one that I designed, so it's kind of my pride and joy, even though every time I make it, it gives me carpal tunnel because it's so many fine motor functions where it just kills my hand after a couple days, but they turn out so cute. It's so worth it, and our customers seem to really like them, and that's why we're constantly running low. So part of the process is melting our wax, right? So I use this right here to melt our wax. I do have a thermometer set up so that I know what temp my wax is at. Once it hits 190 degrees is when I pour it. I'm going to add my color, which today we're going to do orange. Here's our dye chip that we use. So you can always do a different amount, like a half a chip or a quarter chip, depending on what color you want to obtain. But typically it's 1 chip per pound of wax. And the reason why the color is the first item I'm going to add is I need this to be hot, or I need the wax to be hot for this to totally disintegrate and let the wax absorb the color. Then after this is absorbed, then I'm going to add in my fragrance oil. I do have 1 ounce already poured out. So your standard candles like that you find at like Walmart or Yankee, etc., they typically use 0.5 ounces of fragrance oil per pound of wax. That's the ratio. Sassafras candles, we do 1 ounce. So we are typically at least double what those other manufacturers use. So that is why our products are stronger, because you get a much stronger throw, both cold and hot. So that's why we have really good fragrance throw for our products. So after the color is added, then we add the fragrance oil. You don't want to add your fragrance oil at the same temp as the colorant because fragrance oil can burn off. So after we add in our colorant right away, I actually have to wait a little bit to add my fragrance oil for the temp to drop at a specific temperature. And then I added my fragrance oil. That way, the wax is hot enough to absorb that fragrance oil throughout so you can get a consistent smell or scent throw. But then it's also not getting burned off, so you don't lose your fragrance as well. So this process usually takes a while, so I'm going to go ahead, let the process be, and we'll touch back again after I've had my color and fragrance added in. Alright, it's been about 15-20-ish minutes and my wax has melted down to the desired temperature of 190 degrees. I added my colorant and my fragrance oil. I've got it all mixed up, and I just wanted to kind of show how my setup works. So you're going to notice I have a griddle. It is not used for food in the shop. It is explicitly to maintain heat when we're working on something that takes a little bit more time, such as this project. So this project does take a lot of time because here's our wax melt mold for our Fruit Loops. It is messy. Wax is a messy medium. So unfortunately, this is probably the cleanest that I can ever get it after it's been used. But anyways, I have to use this dropper to fill every single crevice in here. So with that being said, my wax, if not on a griddle, would actually cool relatively quickly to the point where I wouldn't be able to work with it anymore. So I use this to kind of maintain that. But now that I got to show you the mold and show you a little bit of my setup, I'm going to do a close-up where you can actually see me pouring into the mold just so you can see how much work goes into it. Alright, so I have a close-up setup on my wax melt mold here. So what I always do is I always heat up my dropper, because if my dropper is actually cold, as soon as I suck up the wax from our melting pot or pour pot, it will actually cool instantaneously in my dropper. So along with my pour pot maintaining heat on the griddle, I also maintain heat on my dropper. So it has been on there for a bit, so it should be good to go. So I'm going to suck it up. And then I just fill up my Fruit Loop crevices. Just like that. And I repeat this process several times until all 6 pounds of colorant are made. So the hard part with this, you know, don't get me wrong, it's easy enough to pour it out just like this, right? The problem is, after a couple uses for each mold, the mold starts to get too warm where the wax no longer cools very quickly. So it's, I basically just kind of, I don't know, maybe pound out a pound or two a day, maybe finish the second pound. And then I usually just have to kind of let these sit for a day or a night, and then I can let them, you know, cool off, and then we can start again tomorrow. Because as you can look at the first one that I poured here, it's already becoming opaque, meaning it's cooling, okay? Whereas these ones are still translucent. You know, we still have to wait a little bit. I like to get all 3 molds done, then go back to the first one. That's when I start to pop them out. But I thought it'd be really important for you guys to see, you know, what's all involved in this, because it is so much fun. And I don't think a lot of people realize how cool, you know, using wax as a medium is. And I just thought you guys would appreciate some behind the scenes action on how this stuff is made. But like I said, it'd be after this, it becomes pretty monotonous. But the process repeats for all 6 different colors / 6 pounds of wax. And then again, once it's done, this is what we do with it. Sorry, I'm not good at centering when I'm looking at it, but this is it. It's really cute, and it's a cute little milk bottle, and the finished product is really awesome and makes all this hard work worth it. But I thought you guys would appreciate it. Typically, when I'm doing this, because it takes so long, I'm usually listening to audiobooks or podcasts, or I was watching Criminal Minds on Netflix, but I only took Criminal Minds off. So now I'm watching NCIS. It's my first time watching it, so. Anyways, I like crime shows, so if you have suggestions, because eventually I'm going to get through that. But that's usually what I do to fill my time, because it is time consuming, and it does become a bit too monotonous at the end. And I'm just going to finish these last 2 while I have you guys here, just so you can see what a full mold looks like. I can't remember how many cavities are in each mold. I could figure it out quickly if I was good in math, but joke's on you, I am not good at math. So, you math whizzes who are watching probably figured it out already. But that's what we do. So again, I'm just going to point out the differences here. So you see how opaque it is? It's starting to become really solid. That means it's cooling, okay? When I put my hand down, it's definitely very warm. So that's why I usually wait and I do each mold again, or each mold, and then I come back to this to pop, because then it's time to pop these out, and they're solid enough, they're cool enough, where they're not going to break right away. But that's how we do it. So that's it. That's how we do this. So I repeat that same process for every single color. If this is something you guys like, kind of seeing like behind the scenes, I really enjoy showing it to people and sharing this craft with people. So if you want to see more, let me know, please. Otherwise, if you don't respond, maybe I'll still do it because I do what I want. And I'm selfish that way. Just kidding. That was a really stupid joke. Whatever. Anyways, so again, let me know your thoughts too. Like, just let me know if you have any questions. If you want to see more, please let me know. Otherwise, in the description of the video, I will be putting in a link to our website if you want to check it out. If you're interested in the final product, again, this is it. It comes out to 5.3 ounces of Fruit Loops. One thing I do want to point out, if you do purchase some, I pack this tight because I want no extra space. Okay, I don't want to hear anything when I shake this because I want you to get your money's worth. Because of that, though, you have to remember, if it gets warm, it's probably going to meld a little bit together. So once you get a... God. Anyways, once you get some out, shake it up. Like, you can be a little rough with it to kind of break them apart again. I don't want you guys to be kind of put off by that. It just means that I pack this really tight because I want you to get your money's worth on this product. But... that's how it works. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you had fun. Thanks.